Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what's the most disgusting thing you witnessed in public? Had a guy fly past me in a neon yellow motorcycle. Like a speed bike. I saw him and then I heard him. Must have been going 150 plus. Short while later cops flew past. Eventually hit a yellow bike broken in half, on fire. Looked like someone dumped a truck bed load of ground beef and egg white on the road. Still have dreams about it. Edit, holy shit, I posted this while I was waiting for someone on hold for work and came back to see it exploded. Sorry to expose so many to this lol, thanks for making my workday go by so much faster. Today was shit but chatting with Yal made it better smiley face. I am a long time rider. I used to see a guy always going past me in the morning. Always in a tatty G, all the time all the protective gear, and he will wave once in a while. One of the days, there was a long traffic jam, due to an accident and I am filtering through the traffic and reached the scene. Cops were covering the body, and putting a tarp. I could see it was him. Literally threw up a little in my mouth thinking that it could have been me. I couldn't ride for some time. Never tried to look up who was he or what caused the accident. When I was in high school, the school would start at 8 o'clock and every single morning for about 2 years at 7:45 I'd pass this old rabbi guy, me on my way to school, him coming back from whatever rabbis do in the morning. He was old and hunched over, always looked like he was deep in thought. One morning he wasn't there and I didn't actually notice until I went further down the street and took a turn, and then I saw him. A hit and run got him on the crossroad, and I remember him just lying there with a pool of blood under his head, still looking peaceful. He died on the spot. Geez, I'm so sorry you had to witness that. I had similar happen the summer I got my motorcycle endorsement. I got a bit cocky for my skill set and was taking risks I'd been educated against taking. One day, I was one of the first to roll up on a motorcyclist fatality on a local highway and recognized the rider as someone I'd waved at in town a few dozen times that season. That guy seemed for all intents and purposes to be a safe rider that respected ATGATT and road rules, and all it took was someone lapsing in judgment for about 3 seconds to negate all of that. That sobered me the hell up on how I ride and how I respect safety advisories. I can no longer upvote or like content from other female riders wearing cute little outfits and open-face helmets on their bikes like I used to, having seen up close what happens to a body even with ATGATT and a rider who did everything right. May you continue to stay safe and upright out there. I saw the aftermath of a motorcycle accident too. I was driving to the club with my ex one night and there was a guy laid out on the highway. There was a river of blood coming from his head and people nearly ran him over again. We were in shock and skipped the club to go sit in a diner and drink coffee and talk. This was 25 years ago and I can still see the motorcyclist clear as day. I'm 54. My dad left when I was 6. I don't know how long ago it was, but Dad was driving, Mom in passenger seat. We passed a motorcycle accident and I looked into the helmet that was laying right side up on the road. I can still see the guy's face inside the helmet. My adult brain knows that it must have been a fairly clean cut just under the chin. I didn't see any blood, or neck. Just his face, he was sorta smiling. I think about that sometimes when I'm about to do something dumb on my bike. Saw a woman at a bus stop try to hack up some phlegm but it caught in her throat, so she reached in and pulled it out with her thumb and forefinger, retching as she did. It was like some cave glowworm. She then shook the sticky giblet from her hand onto the pavement. Grim AF. What a day to have functioning eyes. More like, what a day to be able to read. Must have felt so fucking good. It did. I was starving. My mom used to work for a casino. Walking through it one time I saw a lady at a slot machine who hadn't showered in God knows how long, had a huge brown stain on her dress and the chair she was sitting on had something dripping off of it. Gambling addiction is more than a problem. My dad was a security guard at a casino for 15 years. The chairs at the slot machines were cloth when he started but they had to change to vinyl because people would piss and shit themselves. He once witnessed a guy mortgage his house and then gamble the money away. He dropped dead on the casino floor. He said there were times he would leave work and come back the next night and the same person would be there gambling wearing the same clothes. People would also leave kids in the parking garage or sneak them into the hotel in suitcases so they could gamble. I'm a 911 operator and we get calls all the time about people leaving their kids in hotel rooms, cars in Niagara Falls to go gamble. We have even had a few infant deaths and the parents were located in the casino. Sad and infuriating. My ex left me in a car at a casino for 3 days. I was young, hundreds of miles from home, with no money. It was in East Street, Louis, Missouri. Good times. I went to a casino in a cruise once where this lady was belligerently drunk at a blackjack table for hours, and when the dealer finally told her she could no longer play, which took too long, she got up and flipped out and left, but her chair had a huge piss stain on it and her pants were wet, so gross. Hey, can't quit to take a bathroom break when you're just about to hit a streak. I was once in a casino and the elderly gentleman at the slot machine next to mine stood up, shook a turd out of his pant leg, and sat back down. I went home after that. Oh God. This carnival I saw a girl standing, pissing herself and kissing a guy at the same time. Piss going down her legs and Evie thing on a Sunday afternoon party. The ol' kiss and piss. PFF. And they say romance is dead. I mean, I think that's hot, but I'm also a degenerate. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if it was lack of a bathroom or if it was their fetish. I used to go to the public library to use their computers. I learned that there's plenty of weird guys willing to jerk off under the desks. I learned this too, went to the library to do homework and wondered why the guy 2 seats over got up and left after having just sat down. 5 minutes later I realized it was cause the guy on the seat in between us was playing with his dick. I was like 10/11ths at the time and I was so horrified. I think I just left and went home. That sucks, confused face. I was old enough to know to report them. I've had several guys escorted out by police. Yay, was at the library one time and this little librarian, like 5'0" grandma, was beating a large dude over the head with a book and screaming at him to get the fuck out of her library because he was jerking off. The way our library is set up, the computer rows are right beside the kids section so they could see him doing it and what he was looking at. She did not take kindly to that. The local library where I live has a security guard who was hired specifically to keep registered pedophiles out of the kids' wing of the building. I was parked up in Summertown, Oxford, and watched an old guy stop in the street and shake a massive turd out of his trouser leg before confidently striding off. This is the second leg shack and turd story on here. Does this guy teach a class or something? He spent his whole life perfecting that skill. Saw a seagull rip open a dirty nappy and eat the contents. A nappy is a diaper for the Yanks in the audience. Bro, we have Peppa Pig and Bluey here. Nappy is entering its way into the lexicon. Was walking through a mall parking lot one afternoon and big seagull just picked up a bird under it and swallowed it whole and then just stared at me like, yeah, that's nothing, what's up? Lol, open mouth smile. I was petting a horse one time, he walked away, ate a baby chicken and came back for more carrots and pets. My buddy was driving me home from jail and while on the interstate, a silver sedan zoomed right through the median, at 70 miles per hour or faster, and hit the back tire of the truck in front of us. The truck wasn't a semi, but it had like 8 massive tires on it. Needless to say, I was shocked when that tiny, plastic sedan managed to knock that truck over. We got out, being that we were one vehicle behind the crash, to go see if she was okay somehow. She was decapitated. My God, what a horrible thing to witness. I mean, this whole thread is disturbing, but this seems like something that stays with you. I hope you've been able to get help processing this and I'm sorry you had to see it. Thank you. I just replied to a different comment, but a combination of not knowing this person and it not being as gory as it sounds, to my memory, has helped placate some of the more traumatic aspects. Very grateful her head wasn't just like, looking at me sad face. I hope her soul found peace. When I walked into the train on 125th at rush hour like 6 months ago, a woman was at the bottom of the entrance steps bent over her pants and underwear down and her bare ass facing the steps, just having straight liquid diarrhea all over the floor, which we all had to basically walk over to get onto the platform. I felt bad because she was homeless and clearly was probably not in the right state of mind. What made it even worse was I ran into my boss, who I wasn't very close with at all, while walking to the train, and we ended up walking together and basically had to continue our awkward small talk while sidestepping over this scene, loudly crying. At least she gave Yal something to talk about. Edit, Yal made me do it. Ha ha ha, no, unfortunately we just both pretended it wasn't happening, lol. Someone decided to dump his explosive diarrhea from a bridge into the water and I witnessed everything. A lot stayed on the bridge. Hold up. Was this the incident in Chicago that was like Dave Matthews' tour bus or something? No, with the DMB bus incident it wasn't just like one person crapping. The bus driver decided to release all of the bus sewage over the bridge right on Michigan Avenue. A junkie who I just gave Narcan to. He grabbed a dirty needle and tried to stab a waitress who just wanted to help him. You killed my buzz, he said, covered in his own shit, vomit and foaming from the mouth. Blood coming from his nose. Lucky she didn't get stuck with his needle. Reasons I won't help a junkie. Not worth the risk to my own safety. Addiction is a problem, but I'm not putting myself at risk of getting jabbed with a dirty junkie needle to help him out. A paramedic in my town got bitten by a junkie he saved from overdose back in the early 90s. Got hepatitis from it. Completely ruined his life. His wife left him eventually, stopped caring about himself. Hepatitis eventually destroyed his liver in conjunction with his drinking that he took up after the fact. Damn shame that his calling was helping people and it cost him everything. There was a guy on our AskNYC a couple of years back who was pushing people to carry Narcan with them. I told him I didn't want to for reasons being mentioned in this thread. I'm sympathetic, but I really don't want to trade my life for some random junkies that I'm trying to help. I have 3 for you. They are fairly evenly tied. Edit, I'm adding a trigger warning here as I realized mine are less disgusting and more disturbing. So take caution reading ahead. I witnessed a motorcycle accident where a guy was going maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour, riding with shorts and flip-flops, and when he turned his bike tipped and was too heavy for him to keep up. It fell onto his leg and slid a few feet, taking his lower leg with it. I will never forget seeing the tendons, muscle and broken bones or hearing his screams as he felt his leg get torn off. The second, driving on a freeway at night, we saw a car flipped over and the driver had not been wearing a seatbelt. He got thrown hundreds of feet away and his girlfriend was holding his skull and his brain was spilled on the road. He was still alive and trying to talk. We stayed with him until the ambulance arrived. And last, I was at a stoplight on my way to work. A lady at the bus stop on this busy road got on all fours, pulled her pants down with her rear end facing the street, gave birth. The baby plopped out and just fell onto the sidewalk along with urine and feces, as is common in childbirth. Not her fault really, but if you've ever witnessed childbirth, you can imagine how horrifying it was to turn and see that at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday with no warning. And of course I've had the usual piss and shit stories, but nothing really phases me anymore after these. Seeing one of these things is anomaly, but all 3. Damn, I'm glad I'm not you. Yeah, it's not something I'd wish for anyone, but it happens. I think it's more common in inner cities, but IDK. What are the odds for one person living a pretty average, even privileged, boring life, you know? That second one is probably the worst. I hope he's alive and I hope the girlfriend is okay. How someone can still talk with part of their brain gone eludes me, and it makes me wish I wasn't a visual thinker.